Alright, just want to document some of this madness with what I've been working on today. I was trying to get this StackBlitz working, and it sort of is. Basically, StackBlitz has these GitHub URLs where you can edit a GitHub repo using their little online editor here. And there's two different ways that it works. One way is like their documentation doesn't have this little tilde in the URL, but let me see what happens if I just get rid of it and reload this page. Does it add it back? So it removed the .com, but it didn't add the thing back. Just a little crazy. Because I don't know why it put it there. I don't think I put it there. Let me go back to something like open GitHub repo. It's the StackBlitz site that I've been working with. Okay, now it puts the little tilde in there. So I don't know what that means. Because they tell you to not use it. If I get rid of it, it's gonna redirect this .com to, yeah, it's doing something there. Anyway, so that whole system is confusing, and there are two different versions. So like the problem with this was that, well, so now it seems to have a fork button. Maybe because now it's just /GitHub and not, what was the one before? This one. Okay. So when we have this little tilde here, now we're in like a commit mode. And I had to, link my account, and so now it's like I can send any changes I make, I can commit them, but it's sort of like a single project per repo. And if I go back to this URL, like I can make changes. I was testing this. I can make changes without committing. I think I have to save it. Control S to save and get rid of that little dot there next to the file. But anyway, once I save it, and then I could like close this out and come back to the page, and it'll have those changes. What? Really? Sure, start it. So these things are like, at least the StackBlitz one, it looks like you have a VM here, but this is like a cloud or a browser-based VM, and it doesn't seem to be working. And node server.js. There it is. Okay, so, and I could configure the package with the start script. I was working on that a second ago. This one actually seems to be like the best in some ways. It took me a while to kind of figure these things out. But okay, so the problem is that when I open this repo from the UI page and it puts this little tilde in there and I'm in this commit mode, it's not bad. The problem is you can't fork it. I was looking all over for like a fork, because for all the other projects, if I get rid of this tilde, then it goes into this fork mode. And so now I don't even know if I can commit it. It looks like my version control settings aren't here. And so I don't think this one's linked to the GitHub repo. I think, well, so I don't know if this is like kind of a temporary project in the same regard. Like if I go in here and say something and save it, and then, wait, what? Why did it change the quotes when it changed all the quotes on the whole page when I saved it? Not all of them. Not the ones in here, but that's stupid. I don't know why it would do that. Sometimes it might not matter, but like, I've never had VS Code do that before. Maybe there's some sort of setting. But now that's just like, I don't know, all these little caveats make me not want to use this thing. And frankly, my whole approach has been stay away from the complexity. One of the main problems that I immediately noticed was that when you inspect this thing, it's just dumping truckloads of errors. I hate when websites just don't care about, I don't know, it might not, it doesn't seem to matter, it doesn't seem to break the site, but I don't know what this is doing and why there's just so much crap that like could completely, on this, it's like it's bundling, wrapping up my, well, so this is the server side code. These are it's like emulating a node server. And so even though it works, it's making me kind of nervous. Now, I think I still might give it a shot just because it's like, could be a quick, easy dev environment. Well, all right, and the title of this stream was comparing this idx.google.com. It's also called the Firebase Studio. It's always good when you give your product two completely different names. This one was so slow to set up. Here, let's go back here. And let's just see how long it takes to load after that it's been cloned. Okay, not terribly long. Now the terminal window here wasn't open. It was like this when I first loaded this up. And so it took me a really long time to find it. It was in here, view terminal. Maybe there's a button somewhere that I'm not familiar with. And this is basically VS Code. Everybody's using it these days. StackBlitz, this IDX, and also Codespaces. Where did my Codespace go? I think this is it. So the problem with the Codespaces one was you have to do this port forwarding. Like I couldn't for the life of me, here, let's close this out. I was here basically, and I was on the terminal. Okay, so I can't even start my server. No, I could. I had to do sudo. Okay. Yeah, on the dev spaces, which I think this might actually be a real VM, a real like container, or however they're running this shit in the background rather than this browser emulation of a VM. Because on this one, I couldn't even get the server running. So I did find the terminal. There's got to be another button somewhere. I was asking the AI, how do I just see my friggin' website? But finally found a terminal. It was in this one that I was asking here. How do I find the web? Like, how do I view it? It was so complicated. I couldn't find a button anywhere to just view the damn thing. And then so finally, after enough Googling, you have to go to ports. Without this, set up, you have to forward a port, type in the port number that you're using, and then when you do that, it miraculously creates a URL for you, which is just crazy. It's like, okay, I guess that gives you some control, but in terms of just rapid development and letting people use this thing to like test your code and see how it works, definitely no bueno. So it's crazy to me that there's all of these like cloud IDEs and they're all building in AI and they just hardly work. All right, so Google's, the problem was that I couldn't do sudo because it like didn't know what sudo meant. I mean, it does kind of have this thing here. I can click on it, but then like node. Wait, what? And then, yeah, this is what it started doing shit before. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what this Nix thing is. I don't know. So couldn't even get this one set up. I mean, I was kind of hoping. I've been kind of leaning into Google's like Gemini, and was hoping. I tried to use Firebase, but I just decided to move away from that because it was way too complex, and I wanted to kind of go my own way. But I could use a Firebase Studio if it didn't suck so much, and it was just, the other thing was it was so slow. To set up a new project was so friggin' slow that like, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of those two. And in terms of using the StackBlitz one, it is quite confusing. They're trying to throw their AI at you too, which is just literally a waste of time. But there's a lot of like workflow. So with this one, so this is, I believe this is when I clicked fork on, wait, this is also, it changed the URL. This is no longer the GitHub URL. Maybe once I made a change to it, it like forked it automatically. So I can just fork this thing and it creates a new URL, and like, you know, you can just click that a bunch of times and then you have all these forks in your little project list. I think you can create collections, which are folders, and I don't know. It's like I could spend a lot of time dicking around with this. There was a docs page. Where was it? Launching projects. They have this little button thing where you can configure it to open your repo in StackBlitz. And so I think that might be not a bad idea, because, well, then I could make a video that says, like, just click this button and then it works. Now, one issue is if you fork the repo, like if I have this, you know, you'd have to edit the link to be the new repo. I mean, I think you use like GitHub Actions or something for it, but yeah, it gets kind of confusing. There's a whole bunch of options here for launching, and I think generally the thing that I was missing was this whole ability to fork. And so when I was on that tilde-based version, so if you go to open the repo and you kind of like start from the base repo and open it, it goes into this like commit mode where any changes are tracked, and you know, you can I can quite easily push them back. In fact, what I was going to do here, let's just revert all these, discard. Let's go to the package and put in scripts. I believe it's just something like this, start .js. Normally I wouldn't do that, but if I do that, commit and push. So now that should be just now package.json. Okay, so then if I open this thing up, I guess it'd be sort of like refreshing this page. I think it just, I don't know if it reclones the whole thing or does a poll on it, or I'm not sure what they're doing in the background. But now it launches the server automatically, which is nice. The script, it says it automatically does this. So yeah, I don't think it's like, at first I was thinking like maybe I could get into a workflow where I do development on my own, but also could help coordinate people to, like if I was to hire freelancers or something, to help them set up some sort of workflow. And then the whole ability to just one-click fork something is kind of cool. The problem is like it gets out of hand really quick. You just get all these things, and like you could rename them and try and organize them, add to a collection, delete. So this does track the forks, sort of. I don't know, let's see if you can see fork 2. It does. Is there no way to view the forks, or is it just like a stat? This format, I don't know. There's just so many questions. I kind of think, well, so this one doesn't have that script in there, so it doesn't launch automatically. So yeah, I mean, trying to like get people to figure out how to use this thing usefully might be kind of a waste of time. Now, putting just a button on the page to, I'd probably have this go to like, does it just look for the first matching? Whoops, there is no page. Page.js. I don't know if it just tries to find the first one. How come it did that? Page.js. Oh, public/page. Okay. It's like a bookmark, sort of. Probably get rid of that question mark, but yeah. So I mean, part of the idea here is that I could put this URL into the repo, maybe with one of those fancy buttons, and then you could launch it and kind of see exactly what it's doing. Let's try what this would look like for somebody who's not logged in. So there is a commit button, but you'd have to fork it first. What? Huh? Sign into GitHub to continue to this thing. It's so confusing. Like, I don't know what if this is a Git fork or a StackBlitz fork. But I guess people could just kind of figure that out on their own. It's really just to test how it works. Like, but I don't know. I mean, I think I'm a little ways from trying to like actually launch it in a meaningful way where people might try and use it, because there's just still so much confusion, and it's not what I have hoped for in terms of having a cohesive, streamlined, easy setup. And honestly, I mean, I'm thinking that maybe I just need to try and move towards a full-blown like Webflow type of an app. Like, forget coding out bullshit with these little functions. Like, it's kind of cool, but it's also not really necessary, because if I can get to the point where I can just create templates with essentially saving it to JSON, pulling them in, and then rendering everything kind of in a more structured way, and then letting people build stuff in the browser and then kind of share and remix and fork and whatever, that would be the ideal, I think. Definitely not easy to do, but turn this off and take a break.